Welcome to student-led teaching presentation of Total Quality Systems by Team 7 under the guidance of Professor J.C. Foley. And my name is Anvesh Yengu. I will be sharing the presentation along with Rupal and Charles. Today we are going to cover the topic benchmarking. So the agenda will be discussed as follows. I will be covering definition and history of benchmarking concept, additional information on benchmarking and types from external references, benchmarking versus re-engineering, and rationale for benchmarking. Charles will be covering prerequisites to benchmarking, obstacles to successful benchmarking, and Rupal will be covering role of management in benchmarking, three phases in benchmarking approach and process, summary and references. So we are going to learn what is definition and history of benchmarking concept. The first is process of comparing and measuring. So first of all, what is benchmarking? Benchmarking is defined as the process of measuring products, services, and process against those of organizations known to be leaders in one or more aspects of their operations. Benchmarking provides necessary insights to help you understand how your organization compares with similar organizations, even if they are in different business or have a different group of customers. Although the benchmarking concept was since 1980, it's been said that there is no benchmarking activity in 1985, and by the year 1990, almost half of the Fortune 500 companies started using this concept. Benchmarking involves two organizations who agree to share their information and the way they run their business for the improvement of the other organizations that is struggling. Benchmarking is a process involvement and improvement tool helping in allocation of established resources at the right place. Competitive analysis helps in understanding and comparing the features and pricing of the competitors' products against the other. The goal of benchmarking is to find the secrets of success which helps in improving the performance of ours. Benchmarking is equally beneficial for both large and small businesses. And coming to the next slide, additional information on benchmarking and its types. So benchmarking works on looking at a competitor's process or products and requesting their support. It goes in two methods. Process benchmarking, where companies look internally in different branches of operations and implementing the same successful methodologies. Collaborative benchmarking, organizations look at other industries and best-in-class partners and request their support. The references are provided for this one in the last slide. You can look at reference number 2 and 3. And coming to the next one, benchmarking versus reengineering. So what is process reengineering? Process reengineering helps in manufacturing the product on own, whereas the benchmarking helps the manufacturer to utilize their design for their process. Next is process improvement. This exchange of ideas, thoughts, and process helps in process improvement. The process reengineering is seen as a management tool wherein the employees see it as a radical and sudden, although it is not the same way. Involvement of process owners, internal suppliers. So in process engineering, we must involve process owners, internal suppliers, customers, and other appropriate employees. And the last, in summary, if the organization decide to build their product themselves, they need to follow continual improvement techniques, wherein by benchmarking we can leverage support from already successful organizations. And coming to continual improvement techniques, this is a benchmarking is always a continual improvement strategy that's need to be followed. Rationale for benchmarking. The rationale for benchmarking was observed with the transition of electronics and automobiles industries from Western countries like USA to Japanese. It is also found that the Japanese had followed low labor costs to reduce the cost of manufacturing than that in Western, uh, in the than the Western world. Industries had accepted that of following the better practices and process which can enhance the competitiveness and agreed that it makes the business runs as well. With the concept of benchmarking, one can compare his product or process with the best in the world and seek their guidance and help in improving their technology. Every company that won Malcolm Baldrige Award endorses benchmarking because the factors that drive those to benchmarking are as follows: commitment to total quality, customer focus, product to market time, manufacturing cycle time, and financial performance.
Hello, hi, myself Charles, and today I'm going to explain about the prerequisites of benchmarking. Like every organization must check for few prerequisites if they do wish to follow the concept of benchmarking. So the first one is the will and commitment. The first, like, without will and commitment, if any organization starts the benchmarking, it would be a time waste for both top management and the partnering company. The second one is the vision and strategy. Objective link. As the process of benchmarking without a strong vision, the people get carried away in multiple directions. Like, and the next one is goal to become the best as in benchmarking. One need to be the best in world class level instead of improving in parts. Like, the next one is openness to new ideas. In benchmarking, every organization should never think as the idea is not ours, this is not we think. Like, instead one should be ready to acquire ideas and knowledge from others. And the next one is the identifying key business process. Like, every organization should identify the key business process in those company which lead to maximum success and allocate the capital and investment and key people in the benchmarking of those process. The next one is understanding the process of existing process, products, services, practices, and customer needs. Every organization should understand their process and product clearly to collaborate with their partnering, like with their partners, and to determine what need to be benchmarked. And the next one is the process document need to be clear for three reasons. One, to measure performance measurement, to keep partnering understand our process, and to ensure all the people in process have common understanding. And the other one is the process analysis is an important step in benchmarking, as it tells that there should be people in organization who has skill to understand and interpret the data and to make document about the process, and the same people should continue in understanding the process of the partner. And the last one is the research is to identify the best in class process owners, where communication and team building helps in functioning of benchmarking in internal and external partners. And coming to the next slide, obstacle to successful benchmarking. Common obstacle which can be seen in benchmarking are as follows. Internal focus. Every organization who are intentionally focused assume they are far better than any other should examine and understand that their process is 80% less good than others in the world. Benchmarking objective too broad. Companies should consider the bottom line performance as minimal as it evolves everywhere and should try for a replace or refine the process. Unrealistic timetable. Always be patient for getting benchmarking result and success, as it takes around 8 weeks of time for anyone to see changes. Poor team composition. Process owners are important in understanding and performing tasks related today in and out. Setting for OKs in class. For OK in class is whose process is not that good, and hence organization should partner with the people and process who are best in class. Improper emphasis. Improper emphasis in understanding the process and only pushing forward the number cause of failure, a process failure. And intensity of partners. Protocols and common courtesy need to be maintained by the people and benchmarking organization with the partner organization, as miscommunication cut off the relationship and causes failure and process causing intensity. Limited top management support will be an obstacle to continue the process of benchmarking. Hence, their support is always required in preparation phase to secure promise gains. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Rupal. Moving on to the slide, role of management in benchmarking. Management plays a very important role in benchmarking. Some of the consideration for the management are commitment to change. Strong commitment is required by an organization for the benchmarking to be successful. Funding. Management should allocate budget for benchmarking process. Human resource. Management should identify the team size and number of people involved. Disclosure. Management should ensure that confidential information are not collected as part of benchmarking. For example, in my organization, customers' SSN, credit card, etc. cannot be used for benchmarking. Last one is involvement. Management should ensure all stakeholders are effectively engaged. Moving on to the next slide. So there are three phases and benchmarking approach and process. So as we can see here, there is first column is phase. There are three phases: preparation, execution, post execution. The next column is action by, and the last one is the steps. So as we can see, there are 14 steps. The first one, preparation, has 7 steps. The first one is obtain management commitment. As we have seen in the last slide, the management commitment is important. Second is baseline your own processes. We have to finalize the process. Third is identify strong and weak processes and document both. It's important to document especially the weaker processes. Moving on to the fourth, select processes to be benchmarked. All the processes cannot be selected for the benchmarking. Fifth one is form benchmarking teams. We have to form the teams. Then the sixth is research best in class. We have to research and investigate the best in class in that organization. Seventh is select benchmarking partner candidates. Moving on to execution, there are 5 steps. The first one under execution is form agreements with partners. Partners should be agreeing on same stuff and they should be on the same page. Ninth is collect benchmarking data. The benchmarking data should be collected, and then the next one is obviously we have to analyze the data and establish the gap. And the next is plan action to close gap and surpass. The last one under execution is implement change to the process. We have to implement all the changes. The last final two under post execution are monitor performance, and the last one is update benchmarks, continue the cycle. Step 2 through 14 form the benchmarking cycle, and it should be repeated as long as benchmarking is employed. Moving on to the next one. So next slide is making full use of benchmarking data. After implementing the benchmarking process and key updates and receiving the qualitative and quantitative information, we can project the performance measurement by using the complete information of this benchmarking data, which helps in improvement and forecasting the process. Moving on to perpetual benchmarking. Once the process is implemented and the benchmarking is successful, many organizations leave this process and tries to focus on other projects. In this scenario, this is the wrong step, as any process can fall behind any time. So the hard-working benchmarking should be kept in line and should be continuously monitored and leveraged for the improvement of the process to stand best in class. The last one is benchmarking resources. A lot of organizations will be willing to extend their support to the organizations which are trying to stand in the market to improve their process. Some extend support for free, few others support for a fee. Lot of information can be sourced online in internet. Effective leverage of data in the right way boost the process to stand best. Moving on to next one. So here is the summary what we have discussed so far. So objective of benchmarking is to stand best in class Focus on processes and practices rather than products. Obstacle to successful benchmarking should be surpassed. Management's role is key for successful benchmarking. Steps in benchmarking are a continual process. Quantitative and qualitative data should be used. Perpetual and continual improvement helps succeed. And the next slide would be the references that we have used for this slide. So here are some references that we have used. Thank you everyone for your time.